Well, good evening, everybody. It's a Friday night. We're going to keep it brief tonight, probably only about, maybe 10 minutes or less. We've had some heavy downpours out there tonight, too. In fact, I went outside on dinner break, my house out in Harvest, and it was pouring down rain. So very slow-moving showers. No lightning, so that's good. You know, they can play football. I'm looking forward to seeing Carl's highlights, see if any of the games had some heavy rain during that. And you know, as high school goes, playing football in the rain, pretty cool, but not in the lightning out there. But again, of course, parents always worry about cleaning the uniforms, but not with the high school sports, but with the youth athletic supports. Parents never like to see rain. At least mothers never like to see rain. I know Brenda never did. Anyway, let's go to the radar here, and you'll see we have more showers out there, very slow-moving, heavy downpours. And I think we're going to see a little bit more activity overnight, and we might wake up with some showers in the morning. So just be prepared for that. A bit of a change maybe to the forecast. That tropical air slowly lifting to the north. So again, just real spotty showers. You have to zoom in on our 48 First Alert weather app on the radar to get more detail from it. But that's about it. Again, very muggy out there. Temperatures in the 70s, 81 still hanging on to that. And Athens, also in Huntsville, the Shoals, in and around the Quad City, probably some 80-degree temperatures there. 75 over in Fort Payne and Scottsboro. We've got some rain-cooled boundaries, but still not much of a breeze. This rain is just straight down. So here's the latest model guidance. Again, I call it's guidance. That's all it really is it's indicating we could see some other areas of heavy rainfall, tropical downpours tracking from the east to the west. This is about an hour and a half from now, so something we'll watch. And this should start showing up by 10 o'clock. But notice it doesn't last very long. And just some locally heavy downpours. And this puts out boundaries for tomorrow. So what I mean by boundaries is you get these wind shift lines. And that's what allows new storms to develop once we reach the convective temperatures tomorrow, which will likely be in the mid-80s. So once we hit about 85 tomorrow, we should start to see some thunderstorms, and there we go. That's about noon tomorrow. Notice by noon tomorrow, this boundary is probably going to be west of I-65. So we're looking at a boundary that's west of I-65, and then by the late afternoon, it starts shifting to the east. And you'll see this in the model guidance. And the reason it's doing that is because this incoming cold front is going to change the westerly winds in the upper levels. They're going to turn back to the west, and everything out ahead of this it's basically like waves on the ocean we're tracking here. You just have to try to visualize this. But definitely the cooler weather coming in May, and that'll be next week and beginning Sunday night. I'm going to have to see if I can go get some firewood tomorrow for patio fires. I've been missing my patio fires, and I'm going to get that kind of weather back as we get into Sunday evening. So Sunday evening looks good. But this is Saturday around 3 o'clock. Notice the rain in the shoals. Then notice the shift, everything dropping east-southeast as we go into the evening hours. So this is where we're likely going to see some clusters of this heavy rain, and it may last an hour, hour and a half. So you may have some rain delays Saturday evening. Notice by just before 11 o'clock tomorrow night, this is all kind of focused in the mountainous areas, whereas the shoals, you had the rain earlier in the day. It kind of lets you go. Here's your 3-day forecast. 87 tomorrow, 89 Sunday, 86 Monday. We're going to talk more about the 10-day forecast after a commercial break here. But again, Sunday evening looks nice. I think the front moves through during the late morning hours on Sunday. The wind shifts to the north. It's not going to be your classic fall cold front where the winds pick up about 20 miles an hour, but the wind will shift probably about 10 miles an hour. You'll get a breeze, so Sunday evening's looking rather awesome, and each day progressively gets better as we head into next week. In fact, some mid-50s for overnight lows. We'll talk about that after the break, and I promise I'll remember my microphone after the break this time. Forgot it last night. All right, we're back. Here's the rain on the roof forecast. We go 40% tomorrow. We could probably, in fact, I may increase this to 50% before 10 tonight, just based on what I think we've got a pretty good chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. And then 30% early in the day Sunday. I don't think we'll see much of any rain Monday. Now, Tuesday's interesting because we've been looking at this wave coming through Tuesday or Wednesday, and now it looks like it's going to be Tuesday. This is going to bring a lot of cloud cover to the area. So don't be surprised if Tuesday's one of those days the temperatures actually stays in the low to mid 70s. Right now I'm forecasting 78 as we go to the 10-day forecast. But if we get clouds and any bit of light rain shower activity, we're going to stay in the low 70s to mid 70s Tuesday afternoon, starting the day at 61. So some really nice fall-like weather. And if you're not quite ready for fall, some of you aren't, we've got probably a couple more rounds of heat coming back in as we get into September. But we've had some wet weather, and I think we're probably above normal rainfall-wise in a few areas too for the month of August. August, September, usually very dry unless we get something tropical. We definitely haven't had anything tropical except the air mass. No tropical storms. But we'll be watching that, and as we get down the road here in about 3 weeks, we are reaching peak hurricane season, so we'll likely have to start watching down in the Gulf and areas in the Caribbean tracking to the west, because it's that time of year where we start to see more cold fronts, and if you get a westward moving tropical wave or even a tropical storm, they get picked up by these cold fronts and it forces them to the north. So something, say, going more towards, say, Cancun or Mexico would be steered more to the north by one of these cold fronts. So we'll have to watch for that. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I promised I'd keep it brief. We're on about 9 to 10 minutes here. You guys enjoy your weekend. I got the latest forecast. Plus, Carl's got the latest sports. First night of high school football, our abbreviated 10 o'clock news, and then Carl and company take over from there with sports highlights. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.